Hey guys, Kate here, aka Wanderlusting Lawyer, back with I think my 7th backpack review for you. Hope you guys are enjoying these. If so, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Today I have sort of an interesting one. It's my first unisex pack. I had ordered I think 7 women's packs to try on, and thought, well, maybe given that I have broader shoulders and a little bit longer of a torso, about 18 and a half inches, maybe a men's pack would work well for me. So I ordered one that I hadn't really seen any reviews on, but I loved the look and a lot of the features. This is the Granite Gear Lutsen 35. It comes in 3 colors. Comes in like a sort of an army green, bluish color, and then this color. And this was my favorite color of all of them. I thought it was the sharpest looking, but all 3 colors are pretty nice. And they advertise this, as a unisex pack. I got the large, extra large, which starts at an 18 torso and goes up to a 22. And then there's a small that I think starts at a 14 or 15 and then goes up to 18. But one of the coolest things about this pack, and the reason I wanted to try it, is not only does it have an adjustable torso like we saw with some of the Osprey, it has an adjustable hip belt, which I'll show you a little bit later. But you can actually pull the belt out, 1, if you don't want to use it, or 2, readjust the fit so that it can fit, that'll just fit your hips better. That's been one of my biggest complaints with these bags, is that the hip belts, a lot of them just felt too stiff or too tight for me. This is definitely one of my favorite hip belts. And I really think it has they did a good job with the soft cushiony foam. A much better job than they did with the foam on the straps, as I'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, so let's get down to the features. It's 2.6 pounds, so it's nice and lightweight. Unlike other bags, which I've seen have mostly metal frames, this one, I don't know if you guys can see that, it has a plastic frame up here. So I think it allows it to be more flexible, but also still to keep its structure. And it's not, a true trampoline style back. It does have this mesh piece right here, which really in practice, when you put it on, your back is up against here. But it does have a lot of these nice cutouts to help heat disperse. And as I'll talk about when I put it on, I think because of this design, despite the fact that you're probably going to have a sweaty back, which at least I would with just about any bag, it's maybe the most comfortable I put on in terms of distributing the weight. It just felt like it really kind of molded into my back in that way. So there's, the heat aspect of that, but then also the comfort aspect. So I did really like that. You do have this nice big front stash pocket. It stretches pretty wide, actually, a little bit less so once you have the bag packed out, but as you'll see, I still was able to get my 2 extra layers in there easily. This one has trekking attachments on both sides, but interestingly, instead of bungees, it has these Velcro straps, which I actually think might be better. I feel like you can get a tighter fit with that, and I do like that it's on both sides. Because for me, if I'm going to be using, I'm not sure, but say I wanted 2 walking sticks for some reason instead of poles, they'd probably be too big for bungees, so these are nice. It has like thinner straps than a lot of the bags I've seen. I don't get the sense that would affect compression in any way, and there are some good spots to allow you to compress the bag. There isn't one that I see that comes over the top. But with the rigid frame, I don't know how good that would do, how much good that would do anyway. As for water access, you do have a hydration pocket inside, which I'll show you when I open it up. And then you can route the tube out or the hose out either side. So that's nice if you have a preference for which side you'd like it to be on. I'll show you these pockets. They're unfortunately not very good for accessing on the trail. They're just so high. That's something I can't understand. I think, the pocket is longer than my hand extended. And I guess if you had a massive, massive bottle, that'd be all right. But even with your regular Camelback or Nalgene, you could have stopped it right here and it would have been so much easier to get in and out. It does have these side attachments, which I think are to allow the compression strap to route under here, but they do allow you to kind of pop your bottle out on the trail, but trying to get it back in, I'm serious, I could see myself pinching a shoulder muscle, so for me, that wouldn't be worth it. I'd probably need to use a hydration system, but I think you're gonna have a problem fitting a hydration pouch in this bag, so I can see water access being an issue with this bag, unless you get one of those tubes that screws onto the top of your water bottle, which I have one and I haven't used it yet, but that would probably be your best bet for easy water access with this bag, unless you wanted to clip the bottle somewhere else on you. Let's see what else there. Okay, so let's talk about access to this pack. Well, first we'll talk about these two zipper compartments. So you have this small zipper feature here, which is, I mean, you could probably store your phone if you didn't need easy access to it, a smaller camera. Let's see, it's about that big. So it's small, but it's nice and convenient. And I like that logo right there. I think that looks really cool. You have a couple of access points here for S-hooks to hang stuff off of to dry on the trail, which is nice. Other than that, I guess you have two at the bottom as well. But these are probably the four you'd be working with. And then you do have this zipper pocket right here, which is pretty large. Probably fit sleeping bag layer, liner, excuse me, or some lightweight flip-flops or a book or something like that. And now, I liked that this bag had zipper access instead of the drawstring. I'm just not really a drawstring fan, but it has the same issue as the drawstring ones because it only zips to here and you have no bottom access. So if you want something at the bottom of your pack, you're going to have to take everything out anyway. So if you don't mind top loading and you prefer zippers, this is great. But if you're going to want to access things at the bottom of your pack easily, this is not great for that. Now, as you can see, I'll show you more when the bag is loaded, but here's the hydration, where the hydration reservoir goes. In theory, that's fine. You have your clip up here. I do see this potentially being problematic. It doesn't have an attachment point on the other end, so if I could see the loop of the hydration reservoir possibly falling off. The problem is as you saw with this back, it curves in and away from your body. So once you have this packed out, I mean, I had very little space to try to fit anything in there. So that's just something to keep in mind if that's your preferred way to use water. I mean, I guess if you aren't going to be carrying that much stuff, that might work better. But for me, it didn't seem like a reservoir would really fit in there. Before I put it on, I just want to kind of show you, I don't want to take it out because then I'll have to put it back in, and I don't know how to do any video editing yet. But what you would do, it took me a while to figure out, but it's actually really easy. So there's the back Velcro, which is where the two sides are attached. Then there's a front part, which has just a very thin strip of Velcro in the middle. You would just detach that, and the hip belt really does just slide right out very easily. So it's easy to just get rid of if you don't want it, or take it out and adjust it. If you lose 20 pounds in the first half of your Camino and you need a tighter fit, that's actually a really useful feature to have. And I've never actually heard anybody talk about that, if they lost so much weight on their Camino that their bags started fitting them differently. Or I guess maybe gained weight if you're having too much vino and delicious comida española. But alas, and so then if you wanted to adjust the torso, you would just come up here, and it's the same sort of Velcro system. This one, there's a lot more Velcro to it, so it is a little bit more difficult to adjust, especially if it's packed out. So that probably would be, if you were going to switch packs with somebody, you'd want to take your stuff out and then do that adjustment in there. Let me loosen up the straps here so that will be ready when I'm ready to put it on. I will say that the chest strap doesn't have a whistle, which always makes me sad, nor does it have a sunglasses loop. So those are two very minor features that I saw missing. Yeah, all right, let's get this loaded up, and then I can talk to you about the fit. So the other thing is there are two, I guess when you don't have it zip all the way around, it's not as big of a deal. But there are two zippers, And I guess one nice thing is there are no straps that or buckles you have to actually undo to get it zipped and unzipped. So it's, at least if you have to go in and out, it's a very quick process. Kind of zip as we go. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. The bag is only filled up to about here, so I have plenty of space, but let's see if I can show this to you. Because of, this is the hydration reservoir. I mean, because of the way the bag curves in, I just feel like you absolutely would have to stuff your reservoir in there, into the pocket, and it just would be a really tight fit, and I'm sure they're constructed pretty sturdily, but I would be nervous about a pouch exploding. So again, this to me is not an ideal reservoir bag. Let's see. But in terms of space, you have plenty. Honestly, guys, I'm starting to think that maybe I should have gone with a little bit lower liter capacity for my Camino. I honestly think you could get away with maybe 28, depending on how much stuff you have, because there's still plenty of room in here. And the nice thing is you can just compress all that down if you don't need it. But again, if it's compressed, then that hydration pocket is going to be really hard to access. I won't put anything in the real small one, but I'll just put this. How cute is this journal? I didn't even remember I had it. That's the beauty of moving, is you discover a lot of stuff. And then for my layers, as you can see, they shove in nice and easily, and it's really deep. I like that. I mean, I could fit a lot more stuff in here. So I'll say this before I stand up and put it on my back. I don't think I'm going to keep this bag for the Camino because, again, the access isn't what I'm looking for, and I think the water situation would just be maybe too frustrating for me unless I decide I love how that tubing system that I bought, how that works, unless I love that. I might actually end up keeping this bag for just normal travel or outdoor use and take out the hip belt like when I'm in the airport and stuff, because I do really like a lot of the features of the bag and how roomy it is and how it feels on my back, which is what I will talk to you about now. And I won't forget to show you the water bottle pockets this time as I did last time. So I have the hip belt at, I guess, the narrowest setting on the Velcro. So right, you want your iliac crest right there, right under the ridge. And I like that even at the narrow setting, it comes all the way here. And if I wanted to make it wider, I could get it to come even further, which, as I've mentioned, I really like that. And you have this really soft piece of foam right here against your lower back where it should be. So I'm gonna pull these straps down. And then get my load lifter straps here. Get those pulled, get the load close to my back. It might be that I would need to adjust the torso a little bit. But because that's not what makes or breaks this bag for me, I won't do that at this moment. Put on my chest strap. Okay, so this is a good time to talk to you about a little bit about the difference between, what I can tell the difference between a unisex pack and a woman's pack. I'm gonna move my hair. So, right here, the chest straps, the backpack straps are touching my collarbone, and they just feel like they're kind of pressing in a little bit more than a woman's pack. The strap placement on a woman's pack, I wondered if that was just hype or a marketing ploy to try to get women to spend more money or something, but I do notice a pretty big difference with where the straps are. But that said, when I stand up and I loosen the chest strap just a little bit, I gotta tell you guys, like, it feels like I have no weight in this bag. It just sits so nicely from about this part of my back down. I think the placement of the foam pad in the back was spot on by them. I think they really studied people's backs to get a good fit and a good feel. Like, see how that kind of fits against and then comes away a little bit here to allow for breathability. So I do like the way it feels. Like I said, I may keep it, but I don't think I'll be using it on my Camino because this, for one, walking 15 miles a day, I don't think that these are, first of all, they're thick and not very soft, and the edges, these edges are hard, I guess, to give it some structure and stability. But with the Marmot, which is my last video I have to do, the straps are just, they're padded lightly, but they're really, really loose and flexible. And I think that's what I need here, especially because of how uncomfortable this feels on my collarbones. Let me show you the water bottle pockets and the hip pockets. I do love these hip pockets. They're not the best zippers, but they're at least easy to finish if it doesn't quite close enough. I did try with my full iPhone. This is the same size, just a case, and it fits perfectly. This side, you can, you know, my granola bar, Swiss Army knife, chapstick, whatever. So great pockets in terms of size and accessibility. And as for water bottle pockets, see how high this is? If it were right here, you could go in and out very easily, and it would be high enough so that it wouldn't fall. To get this in, you have to reach all the way up here. And again, I'm nervous about hurting my shoulder, but this, I would not do this on the trail every day. You can poke it out more easily because of this hole here. But you'd need a friend to really get it in and out for you. So, as always, a lot of these are features or things that maybe you wouldn't have issues with because you're walking with a friend or somebody else. But these are things that I think about. So, I guess the quick plus and minuses to recap. I really love the look of this bag. I love the hip belt. I might actually see what other bags out there have adjustable hip belts, because that's a feature I've just really, really enjoyed. I don't love the strap placement, and I think this has shown to me, and actually I did try on a couple of men's packs at a local outfitter's, Osprey's, and I noticed the same thing. The straps do come in closer, so maybe for a more petite frame that would actually work better. It just doesn't feel very good, like I said, for me. But if you have any questions, please leave them below. And I guess the next video up is the bag that, at least of right now, I'm taking on the Camino. So I hope you tune in for that, and thanks again for watching.